Okay, in this section we get to create reports. And reports are awesome because they allow you to take all of the data that you've been entering into your tables and sorting with your queries and present it in a professional and easily viewable way. And creating a report is pretty simple. The easiest way to create one is to click on the source that you want to create the report from. So for instance, if we want to do a phone list of our employees by city, we'll select that. We'll go up to our Create tab and we'll go over here to this Report button. And this is going to draw the information from our query automatically. So we click that. And just like that, it's created our report. And right now, this is showing our report in what's called Layout View. And if we go look at our different views, you'll notice that they're a little bit different from what we're used to seeing with our tables and queries and forms. We have what's called Report View, and I'll click on that to show you. That's basically the finished version of your report that you would then either export or print to share with, say, your boss. We have the Layout View, which we just looked at, which is sort of like a simplified version of Design View. In Layout View, you can do sort of large-scale layout changes, so I can shrink this down, for instance, but you'll notice when I select one cell, the entire column moves as well. So this is sort of for broad sweeping changes. We also have our familiar Design View, but Design View is going to look a little bit different. We have our familiar grid and our selectable fields like we did when we created our forms. And you can resize these, drag them around. I'll Control Z to put that back. You can click into here and rename, and we have familiar sections in this Design View. We have our header where we can go in and rename our report. We have a page header for our detail area, which is the labels that go along with our records. Then we have our actual detail area, which is going to be the layout of all the records as they're listed in our employee phone directory. And then we have our footer. And then finally, we have our print preview, which just gives us an exact look at what it's going to look like when we print it out. And using this, you can scroll down and see how it lands and how it lays out on the page. And in print preview, you can change the page size up here. You can change the page layout. If this fit better horizontally, you could change it to landscape layout. This is just giving us a warning that our area is wider than a page width. We'll just click OK, but we're just going to look at it. Okay, so you can change to landscape. You can go back to portrait. You can zoom to make it easier to see depending on how your data is laid out. And then you have options for exporting to Excel, a text file, PDF, email, and more options here. Okay? And you can click here to close print preview, or you can just go back here and click through to wherever you want to be to edit your report. So let's take another look at our report view. And really what we have here is just an employee phone list, right? So we could clean this up if we wanted to. Go back to our Design View. And let's say we didn't want to include the cities in this particular report. We could just go in and delete that. We can change these headers to just look a little cleaner. We can modify the report title. We'll just call this Employee Phone List. And we can shrink that up if we want to. Gotta get a hold of it just right. There we go. And if we press click and then shift and click, we can select both of these. And then we carefully find the edge of it. So we have the double length arrow. And we can shrink that down. We can do the same over here. We can shrink this down to match. Let's go view it. And I shrunk that down too far. I got those squished. So we'll go back to design view, and we can either scrunch up these a little bit, or we can expand this back out a little bit so it fits better. And there we go. Okay, now we just need to close this and save it. So we'll click close and yes. And then we'll rename it. We call this RPT for report and employee phone list. And now you see we have a report in our objects navigation pane called employee phone list. Okay, in the next lecture, we'll look at some more options and we'll learn some more strategies for ways to create reports.